My name is Sheila Muhammad. I was born Sheila Clark. I'm 57 years old. I'm a divorced woman. I don't have any children. I'm disabled and I'm homeless. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, but raised in California. And now I mostly sleep in my car, wherever I can find in Long Beach. I call it my happy place. Yep, me and Teddy. Hashtag me and Teddy, Teddie. She's my 5 pound support animal. It's a Yorkshire Terrier, and I've had her for 14 years. She's been my loyal and faithful, source of comfort through these homeless challenges that I've been going through. I started working when I was 15 years old. I worked for Fat Burgers. Um, I had to get permission, from my guardian to work at such a young age. I was, like I said, 15 years old, and this was back in 1977. And I've held one, two, and sometimes three jobs at a time since then. I had a long career in word processing and desktop publishing. However, I've also sold party like candles, I've tutored children, I've taught at a private religious school. What else? I've done executive assistant work, hostessing, food service, um, caregiving. I'm a celebrity caregiver, house cleaning, closet organizing. Um, what else? House sitting. Wow. I mean, it goes on and on. As far as my early life, my memory serves me right. I remember there were times of joy, but there was lots and lots of pain. My mother, she was a very troubled woman. She died. I was 13 years old when my mother died. I never knew my father. And consequently, because of, the tragedy in my childhood, which involves domestic violence, childhood sexual abuse. I've seen and heard some things that a young girl should never see and experience. Um, I was told that my father was a very abusive man, and I don't remember him. I was too young and little. My mother actually gave me and my brother away, to be raised by her brother and his wife, my auntie Lou. She was a beautiful woman, and that's where the joy came in. Uh, Beautiful home, furnishings, furs, jewels. I remember being dressed up in beautiful patent leather shoes and crushed velvet dresses and ribbons and bows in my hair. And then, like I said, the painful part was when my mother came, you know, uh, into California and, just basically took me and my brother back. I'm your mama. Don't call her mama. I'm your mama. That kind of thing. So, you know, my childhood honestly took a turn for the worse. I'm uploading my bio doc. I'm doing the story of my life. And I'm going to get into detail. It's an expose. I'm telling on myself. And I'm telling on others. People always said, well, Sheila, your life, you should write a book. But I'm not a book writer. I do blogging. I've been on Facebook for 10 years, and I have a talk show format on Facebook. I write and take a lot of notes. I'm an avid reader and a lover of learning new things. However, because of my childhood and experiencing, an alcoholic mother and being her caregiver, um, you know, I have some mental and emotional issues. it's tragic. It's tragic. I've lived with this throughout my life. I've been in and out of therapy, on and off medication. And I'm no longer, embarrassed or quiet about it. I didn't do anything wrong. And I've had a lifelong of, guilt-ridden feelings and not feeling good enough, being a people pleaser. Um, I've allowed myself to be used and abused and taken advantage of. And I know it all stems from that bane to existence, childhood abuse, neglect, indifference, abandonment. Wow. And, people would be really amazed at what my life and my story and my journey really entails. I've had several slip and falls at work. I've had um, a really bad car accident. Like I said, I have a 20-year career in word processing. So I sat for over 20 years. And, back in the 80s, we didn't have these specialty chairs and we weren't told to take frequent breaks. So consequently, I have chronic back pain. And I've been diagnosed with arthritis in my back. Um, let's see, I have OCD, I have PTSD, major depressive disorder, anxiety disorder. Man, is that it? It sure is enough. But don't get me wrong, I've been tempted to mask it. And how I mask it is just really keeping busy, attempting to live my best life. I've traveled. I've been in the Nation of Islam, just busy. I've had hobbies and, I've been a collector. I take lots and lots of pictures and videos. And like I said, I blog on Facebook and I do what I need to do to, survive. I love to eat, drink, and be merry. Um, I always say dancing is my fountain of youth. So, I'm older now though with this homeless thing. Things changed. I became homeless chronically, really for the last 17 years. Um, like I said, I'm disabled and I've been off and on general relief and food stamps and stuff, but I finally got my Social Security disability insurance. And it took a long time to get. So in the meantime, in between time, what I've did to really help myself out, because general relief and food stamps really is not sufficient. So I, in exchange for room and board, I've done caregiving. And I started with my landlady. She got sick. I lived at her place for over 20 years, and she was sick toward the end of her life. So in exchange for room and board, I was her caregiver, her loving caregiver, her dedicated caregiver. And when she passed away, a family member took over and he raised my rent. My rent was $500 for 20 some years. She would lower it back down when I would get married. I mean, she would raise it up when I would get married and then lower it back down when I would get divorced. So anyway, living caregiving, and when she passed away, that's when things changed. Her family member raised her rent up, raised my rent, I should say, up over $1,000. And then, I'm disabled and I wasn't working, and so he had to pay relocation. And that started my journey of living in a friend's apartment building. Then from there, I had to live in my vehicle, hotel, motels when the money came in. Then when the money ran out, back in my vehicle. I was on friends' couches in little spare rooms. Guy friend, you can, sleep in my bed. I'll sleep on the couch kind of thing. And Then another opportunity came up. I'd lived in a boarding house and had been moved out to South Carolina to stay with a childhood friend and her husband, moved back to California, um, floor, and then, like I said, a boarding house, and then a a woman that was like a mother to me. I met her as a teenager. She became sick, and I moved in with her and became her caregiver for the last 4 years of her life. She was bedridden and dedicated. Like I said, I had known her since I was 17. And so I took care of her, and when she passed away, bam, right back out again. The cycle continued. Okay, and then so finally, it happened again this last time. Caregiver, dedicated, room and board in exchange, 4 years of my life. I went in, all was well. Then toward the end, I mean, she's still here. She has Alzheimer's dementia, just like my other mother that I took care of that was bedridden. But then I started getting sick. I started getting stress-related illness, environmental. I was provided with a roof over my head, actually, and it was just me and Teddy for a while. And then all of a sudden, I started, it was required that I have these roommates in with me. Now, I've always been the one to allow people to live with me when I had my own place, but it was almost, always a big challenge for me because of my OCD and my other mental issues. But out of love, you do it. And, but I'm more happier with my own place and my own space. But hey, I was there in exchange on GR. My Social Security, disability, had fallen off. I had Section 8 vouchers because of dedication and taking care of these loved ones, these elder mothers. I mean, I let Section 8 go. I let low-income housing go, fall by the wayside, you know. But I was told that the building was going to be sold, and I had recently had surgery because I was experiencing stress-related illness. The situation changed. It was better when I first started, but then the business started going down, the property started going down, and then the roommates started being put in, and it wasn't any vetting of the roommates, so they were really terrible as far as house cleaning is concerned. And I understand this whole world is one big mental hospital and differing degrees of illness, but when you live with someone, you have to be pretty much on the same level as far as illness is concerned, and none of that was put in place. So my stress-related illness kicked in. I started getting sick, a lot of things were happening, and I started feeling, by one of the other people that was working there, it was, I couldn't do anything right almost, and I was very loving and, attempted to love on everybody, and I do that. I love people to my detriment. I take risks, I do all kind of stuff. Folks were saying, well, someone in particular said, well, you're blessed because people help you and whatnot. But I reminded her, I let people live with me, that I shouldn't have. I go and I visit sick friends and the shut-in, and I sponsored a homeless man for 4 years when I did have a roof over my head. When I lived on Bryanhurst, there was a homeless man that I would take food, blankets, water, conversation, and then of course, we got a little change, and I would, give him money. So anyway, told the building was being sold. I was offered an alternative that, was going to put me in harm's way, so I had to walk away from the situation. And once again, back to hotel motels, mostly in my vehicle. And I have to look at this thing like it's an adventure, like I'm a beloved traveler. And I do love to travel. I do love to get out and about and have a good time. And I have to do that for my mental and emotional well-being, y'all, because it's not easy. You know, I'm older now. I have the chronic back pain, and then I had unnecessary surgery. My bladder, not my bladder, but my gallbladder was removed. And while they were in there, they're like, oh, you have something on your right ovary, you know, a mass. And, you know, they removed my right ovary and my right fallopian tube. That ended up being, you know, nothing, benign. And then the gallbladder was just inflammation. So I call it hashtag unnecessary surgery. So, you know, my days, you know, I have to stay on the move when I'm mostly in my car. I do have to stretch out sometimes. So when I do get Social Security disability insurance, um, and you know, I put it in the budget to get a hotel room at least once, maybe twice in the month, so I can stretch out. Um, and then, you know, at the end of the month, you know, I say the beginning of the month, like everybody, you know, I'm balling. I'm able to, you know, have a nice meal or two or three, maybe take in a really nice form of entertainment, and like I said, get a room. You know, I'm fortunate. You know, I call myself hashtag the homeless diva. And, you know, once again, that's for my mental and emotional well-being. You know, I have a social club and I go out and about, and, you know, I do what I have to do to keep myself happy and positive. And it's not easy because there's been broken promises. And yes, people have ignored my calls, my text. People have offered to help and then reneged on it. I've gotten offered, you know, places to stay, and, you know, the folks started hemming and hawing, like, you know, making up reasons, excuses, and saying stuff about my dog. And my dog is a hypoallergenic dog. You know, oh, I have allergies, you know, and I'm like, I do too. But anyway, yeah, a lot of grief, a lot of pain, lost friendships, you know, really close friends that I thought we were going to be friends to the end. I have had male friends that have been just lusting and, you know, innuendo and whatnot, but not offering any meals or any money on my Cash App. But, you know, really, I can't even get excited in my condition right now. My ideal is, you know, not some man that can say, well, I don't have any money, but I'll pray for you. And then next thing you know, he's, you know, telling me about his sexual fantasies. You know, men that I've known for a long time. Even one was like, well, I'm like letting him know I'm homeless. And he's like, well, we can work something out. Can I walk up behind you and hug you from the back? And I'm like, no. So I've been dealing with that, you know, some sister friends that I've known for a long time. This last one kind of broke my heart. You know, I was staying with her and, you know, emoting. I'm a very emotional woman and I cry. Hashtag she crying. When I say this hashtag stuff, type in the tic-tac-toe sign and then she, S-H-E, crying. Boom, look who shows up. Because once again, I'm uploading my bio doc. It's an expose and I'm exposing myself, you know. And I'm keeping it 100 and just being real. And a lot of people can't handle that. I've been told a lot. Well, don't cry. I hate that. When you leave that stuff, that's why I was sick. Because I was holding it in. And it started giving me gastrointestinal problems. But anyway, I lived on Brian Hurst for 4 years. And, you know, fixed it up really nice because I asked how much it would cost for me to live there on my own. And I was told an amount, and I was like, come hook or crook, I'm going to have this place to myself because finally all the roommates were gone. Fixed it up really nice. I had gotten some money, so I had lavished my family and friends and friend like Ken, and myself finally to get some stuff that I've been wanting, went and stayed at some really nice hotels and stuff. And then boom, I had to move. And like I said, given an option that really would have, pushed me over the edge. It wasn't healthy. And I think, it was known. And I was just wanted out. So here it is. I'm out. Okay, people who are out here in need and who are homeless are just like you. Veterans, elders, disabled, families. A lot of people run away or leave home because there's so many rules and regulations and, stiflement. And, I've been in a shelter before, same thing. What I look like, I'm damn near 60 and got a 6 p.m. curfew. And then, a lot of them homeless shelters and stuff, they're not conducive to being well. That's why I call bullshit. It's like I'm on a watch list. So every morning, 3, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, when I wake up, I go to bed early and wake up early, and I'm on the grind, y'all. I'll be hustling and motivating, and it's all about dedication. So these watch lists I see where there are folks that have issues with women and children homeless facilities being moved into their communities. And I understand there is an element here of crime and rape and theft and all that. All of that. And I'm like this: if you do the crime, do the time. I don't think people should go to jail for petty theft, because quiet as it is kept, when it comes to eat, drinking, and being merry, I may go in and slide up in a place that's offering free food to those who have stayed there that night. But I didn't. It's all about homeless etiquette. And I've seen it. I've seen other women, that may not look like they're, have slept in their car or on a bench, but they'll go into, a hotel that's offering free breakfast. And I saw one a few weeks ago. My dear had her good wig on, That's why I say when people see me, unless I tell them, and I'm very forthright with it. Homeless, how you doing? Homeless, all things considered. I mean, I'm living my best life, but I'm homeless. But anyway, like I was saying, I want to help people in a big old way. I want to be known as, a woman that really looked out for those in need. Something that I've done throughout my life. However, like I said, in a big way. And, the veterans, the families, and, those who need special help. I want to create businesses that allow, those like me that have fallen through the cracks, not on crack, not all messed up and drugged out, and, to have a place, to have ways of being that are dignified, and joyful. Life is not about the quantity as much as it is the quality of life. That's why I do elder advocacy, because I get told all the time, and I've taken care of a lot of elders. They praying to going home to glory, and y'all praying for them to hang in there. That's why people, when they tell me hang in there, I'm like, for what? Oh, just hang in there. Till when? So anyway, I've come to the conclusion that there has to be a cutoff time, and where, it's job well done. So I have mine. I was giving it the other day. I was so excited. I posted it, 66th birthday on the 6th. Folks were like, happy birthday. I'm like, I ain't 66 yet, but I'll be there. So, big way. I'm going to do a GoFundMe or whatever kind of crowdfunding that I need to do. And y'all going to think I'm ridiculous. And folks say, well, reach for the stars or the moon or the sun. And, you know, I'm reaching for the entire galaxy universe, because to be able to change some shit, you got to have some money. And with money comes power. And with power, you can do some damn things. Okay? Y'all know I got hashtag Nipsey Hussle Love. And I call him the life-giving son. I put my right hand to God. But anyway, yeah, every morning it's like my ritual. I'll listen to it. And like he said, it's like, a gift horse. Some people just don't know what they looking at. I do. But, yeah. I have some powerful people, virtual loves, backing me not only in this dimension, but in the great beyond, okay? People probably say you crazy, but hey, you know who's in my head? I got a lot of people in my head, but Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, of course, Nipsey Hussle. I get a little, giggly when I think about him, because I used to fantasize about being his grandmother's caregiver. Man, and being in on those conversations and those ways of being, and to hear him and his philosophy, and, to hang out. And y'all know I'm hashtag we wellness, hashtag herb of the gods, to sit up and kick it with. I never got to meet him, but I've been to his store several times, and shit, I was a regular at the Fat Burgers, the Master Burgers, and, always looked out to meet him because, neighborhood Nip, I knew of him, his music and all that. And of course, when he was assassinated and I saw the tape, I ain't never been the same. That's why I push unity and unity color movement. It's my movement. I push elder socialization. I push senior Saturdays, woman crush Wednesdays, because these are all the things that he talked about, So my crowdfunding is going to be for $1 trillion. $1 trillion. First you get the money, then the respect, then the power. Because, folks are oblivious to the obvious. There are things that can end this homeless crisis immediately. And let me tell you what they are. What this money is going to go to. Cruise ship. Okay? Y'all don't want the homeless. And I love cruises. I've been on a few. You don't want us homeless folks in your hoods. Put us on a cruise ship and sell it out. Motels. Boom. Why do you got to wait to build some stuff? Just commandeer some hotels and motels that are already there. Buy them. Okay? Folks talk about drugs and strung out. What kind of drugs and strung out are you doing in your high power house and in your warmth and in your bed? You doing some kind of shit. You just got a roof over your head. Planet Fitness, okay? I got to get, situations where I can pull homeless people in on gym memberships and they have a place, as I say, to shit and shower, okay? Planet Fitness. Storage unit facility. That part of that $1 trillion is going toward that. So I'm employing people who are homeless. I'm taking them off the streets. I'm giving them somewhere to work, somewhere to live. Okay. Storage facility unit, somewhere to store their stuff. Trucking company. I gotta have a trucking company. There's too many trucking yards and empty containers sitting up, and homeless people are out in the rain and the cold. And you're going to tell me you can't let them get up in there with their sleeping bags and stuff, And that's another thing. Sleeping bags. I got to buy luggage. I got to buy, stuff, transportation, scooters, bikes, wagons, whatever it is. Because like I said, I love to travel, and being homeless is an adventure when you're able to move around and have the money to do so. I want to be able to roll up and just shoot like Blueface did. Ooh, just make it rain on the homeless. Money, yeah. So trucking company, and Y'all know me, CBD and 420, hashtag weed wellness, hashtag herb of the gods emporium. Think about the jobs, from the cultivation, the packaging, the trucking, the import, the export, the okay. Homeless crisis over. Homeless crisis over. Hashtag the homeless diva, homeless advocate signing out. So, hashtag the homeless diva, hashtag homeless advocate. I've always looked out, for others. People say, don't depend on people, depend on God. But I feel like we are the hands, and the hearts of God. So we are, the stewards. We're to take care of each other. So I just can't think about myself. So when I've been in these hotels and motels, I've been collecting toiletries and I put together hygiene kits. Like I said, I have OCD, y'all, and everybody stinks. Not everybody, because I don't know everybody, but I gotta have aromatherapy. I gotta have beautiful, clean surroundings, dust free, and all that stuff. That's why I continue to say I have to have my own place in my own space. But back to being a homeless advocate, I come on social media and I, appeal to people to get hats, coats, gloves, water, sleeping bags, suitcases. I want to have a wig and a weave drive to collect, the wigs and weaves of women that's not using them. They just sitting up collecting dust, because homeless women need wigs and weaves too. I've gone to different agencies. I've called, this homeless crisis. Sometimes I think it's kind of deliberate, because folks is dying out here, y'all. And like I said, I've gone to a council meeting, a rally, and I just call bullshit. I call bullshit because, once again, folks is dying out here. And folks act like there's no, solutions. And then I understand there's a stigma, a homeless stigma. And I say again, there's degrees to this thing. This whole world is one big mental hospital with differing degrees of illness, and no one really goes unscathed. And I say again, it's degrees. So yes, there are some homeless people that are, the mental illness is such a degree where it's pretty messed up. So instead of, complaining, have some compassion and understanding. Now, yes, I no longer live on Bryanhurst, but I have this strong desire to make a mark on the world. I want to help people, homeless people. I'm a woman and girl advocate. I have a foundation now, a Kiss on the Forehead Foundation, and it's in honor of the mamas that I've taken care of. I do elder socialization and elder advocacy. Also, it's in honor of my dedication. I have really dedicated my life to taking care of others. Hashtag caring service to others. That's what my life is about. Love, advocacy, and caring service to others. People have said, well, Sheila, you've changed, you're different, you're tripping and all this. But I have to remind you that no matter what you see, what you think, how you judge, the largest part of my legacy is love, advocacy, and caring service to others. I have loved on people, almost forced it on them. And I'm still like that. That's why I've grieved so much over these friendships, folks that have ignored my calls and have put me out of their houses and, have told me, well, you can live with me, but you got to clean up, and, the men that have made passes at me and stuff. And, I forgive them, but it's, a family member said, when I was asking for help, well, maybe you shouldn't burn bridges. And hell, please, I ask that you, in all humility, I'm asking that you please forgive me. I've been very forgetful, not forgetful, but yeah, forgetful. I have forgiven and forgotten a lot of transgressions. But then I've seen through, my homeless challenges that folks are holding grudges. They bringing up old shit from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I'm like, wow, you still bringing up that back when I was fresh out of high school and, asked, could I date your boyfriend that you were no longer with? And you said, yeah. Or I didn't invite you to go out to lunch or dinner with me and another girlfriend of mine, and you still holding a grudge behind that? I mean, I don't understand. But please forgive me, y'all. Please forgive me for, anything I've done. I don't intentionally, set out to help hurt people. But it happens because I know it's happened to me. And maybe you didn't intentionally set out to hurt, me. But I got to move on. I'm seeking new friend kin, through my, my social media as well as my meetup group. Hashtag Cousin Sheila, or it's Cousin Sheila's Friends from All Walks of Life. But as far as my mission, purpose, and passion, my mission is love, my purpose is advocacy, and my passion is caring service to others. I started a movement, y'all, the Unity Color Movement, and I was inspired by Nipsey Hussle. I lived in his community for 4 years, and I was a community advocate. I was on, what is it, 211? I think it's, or 41. No, not 411, not 2. Whatever it is, I would call the city, taking pictures of the dumps, the people dumping rubbish and trash and mattresses and stuff, and, having the city come out and, just, like I said, I fixed up Bryanhurst really nice. So in one of his songs, he said, you got to have a purpose or you just wasting air, and that's my purpose. Mission, purpose, and passion is to spread love, to be an advocate, and to, care for others. And I want to care for others in a big way. So, thank you to my virtual loves who have put money on my Cash App. It's hard for me to ask for help. I will go without. I will go hungry. I will park my car and not have gas. People say, well, just let me know. Ideally, somebody told me don't be on Facebook begging. I've done that. I've held up my signs and all that. Homeless people need money. At the end of the month, think about you. But we have special circumstances. We're homeless. So keep that in consideration. Those of you who have promised money and, just ignored me, or promised a meal and then have ignored me, I mean, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care at all if I had a roof over my head, if I had a steady home. You can lie to me all you want. I'm used to it. I'm used to the lies and, the neglect, being ignored. It hurts me, but I mean, like I said, if I had a roof over my head, fine.